Hello and welcome to the July edition of our Habitat Home Show. My name is Ashley Reeves. I'm the Volunteer Services Coordinator with Habitat for Humanity of Greater Dayton and your July edition Habitat Home Show guest host. For any of you that are worried about Brad Roediger, don't worry, he'll be back next month to host our August show. Today we have a special edition of our Habitat Home Show, which is why I am here to host. We are having an entire show dedicated to the amazing volunteers that come out and volunteer with Habitat for Humanity of Greater Dayton. Welcome everyone. This is our volunteer panel that we've put together for today. I want to thank each and every one of you for coming out. Each of you hold a different role, a volunteer role with our organization. So the reason we really wanted to highlight this was so that our viewers could get a good understanding of the different ways that you can volunteer with Habitat. A lot of people come to Habitat and say, well, I know that I can volunteer on build site, but they aren't aware of all the other opportunities that we have. So I'm so thankful for each of you to come out today and discuss why you volunteer and kind of discuss your volunteer role. So I think what we'll do for our viewers so that they can get to know you is we're going to go down the panel, and if you guys could introduce yourself and let the viewers know the volunteer role or roles that you hold with Habitat for Humanity. We'll start with you, Karen.
I'm Karen Clute, and I am an on-site volunteer, which means I go out and swing a hammer and pound nails and put up drywall. I'm also a site leader, which means that I would be the person in charge when you come to our house to build, and I would give you the work to do and show you how to do whatever we're doing if you don't know how.
Absolutely. All right, thank you.
I'm Kathy Bruner, and I work at the Restore at downtown, near the downtown area. And primarily I work on the books and getting them in order for people to come in and buy books and records and videos and things. And I also help with the paint department, stocking, make sure plenty of stock is in.
Absolutely. And you volunteer with us every Tuesday.
Right.
Yes, at our Restore.
Every
Yes.
Tuesday.
All right.
I'm Gary Tucker. I'm a construction volunteer with the Greene County Golden Hammers. Predominantly, we do construction every Wednesday and other days when needed.
Very nice.
My name is Heather Schrader, and I am a family partner advocate volunteer. I volunteer to work directly with the family and kind of help them guide through the program and track their volunteer hours and what they need to do to participate in the program to get home.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Brian Hoover. I work at Synchrony Financial and I work in the partner experience team. But apart from that, my job there, which I really enjoy doing, is leading the Engagement and Inclusion Council. And with that, one of the things we do is partner with community partners like Habitat for Humanity and make sure we have enough volunteers to engage, in the site home builds that we're working on with you guys. And then this year I've also had a chance to actually be on one of those sites myself. I'm not very handy, so I was impressed that I could actually learn how to hang drywall. Then also I would say I had a chance to be on the committee for the fundraising gala, and that was a lot of fun.
Very nice. All right. Well, we thank each of you for coming. And since we are kind of running this like a volunteer panel, I think we'll start with each question and we'll just have you guys answer it down the line if it's applicable to what volunteer role you hold within our organization. Does that sound good?
Mm-hmm.
All right, perfect. So we'll start with you, Karen, because you're the closest to me. So why or how did you start volunteering with Habitat for Humanity?
I started volunteering for Habitat back in 1989 when a young person from my church got up and asked people to volunteer for a build. And it was the first time I'd ever heard about Habitat or knew it existed. And I went to the first day of construction and I got hooked. So that's how I got started.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Well, I am pretty recent volunteering, and I came into it through a friend who also volunteers, and she told me about the project with the books and trying to keep them organized and get them shelved and things like that. So I came in and I met Phil and a few other people, and he explained a lot about the operation of Habitat for Humanity, and I started right away.
And you came in because of Jan Ashton, correct?
Right.
One of our other Restore volunteers who was on our Habitat Home Show in May. Right, yes.
Well, I started 5 years ago. I knew that after 23 years in the Air Force and 17 as a support contractor in the Air Force Research Lab, I needed to do something while I was retired so I wouldn't get bored and keep myself out of trouble, I knew about Habitat for Humanity. And so I started doing that in the Greene County area and building homes, and made a bunch of friends, enjoyed it, and I really liked the philosophy of Habitat, where the person actually pays for the home and has to go to certain classes and put in sweat labor. They get to help volunteer on the construction.
Yeah.
I'm a gopher, I have no skills, but I keep busy every time I volunteer.
All right. Thank you, Gary.
My first interaction with Habitat was actually through my employer. We did a work day as a team building exercise. We spent 2 days working on a Habitat site, and it was just a lot of fun. I wasn't any good at it, but it was a lot of fun to do and participate in, and
Sure.
it was the first exposure I had to what they do.
Okay. And then how did you get involved with becoming one of our family advocates, if you don't mind me asking?
Yeah,
How did
no.
you start with that?
Like I said, I was not very good at swinging a hammer. I hit my finger more often than the nail.
But you came out already twice this year. with
Yes,
your
I
pumpkin,
did.
So you're
I
still
did, and they
out
let
on
me
site.
play with an air gun, which I'm not sure was a
No.
good decision.
Okay.
But I thought the program was really good and really
Okay.
beneficial to the community, and I wanted to find a different way I could help. And I heard about the family advocacy program, and it just seemed like a perfect fit, getting to
Okay.
work with the families, getting to talk to them, figuring out how they can navigate the system and have a good experience with everything. I thought that was a better fit for my skill set.
Okay. And I know that we definitely value our family advocates, and we actually are looking for new ones. So it's a good
Oh, do it.
It's a
It's
good plug to
great.
be like, see,
It's so much fun.
we need more, because we want to make sure that our partner families feel supported and have that contact with you while they're through the process.
And you get to
So,
watch the family go from the very beginning all the way to the day they get their keys to their house.
which has to
and
be completely rewarding.
it is.
Yes. All right. Thank you, Heather. All right, Brian.
Sure.
You're up.
I think it was probably like the late 80s I first got in touch with Habitat through a friend in Indianapolis, but at the time I was doing some other community things, but I put it in the back of my mind, someday I want to engage with Habitat for Humanity, and moved here to Dayton 3 years ago, and was so pleased when I found out that my employer, Synchrony Financial, said, hey, Habitat's one of our key community partners, and in fact with our corporate citizenship focus, and the motto there is families that work. Housing is one of the 3 major legs or focuses of that theme, and so it's great. Habitat is a perfect fit. But for myself personally, I've just been so impressed with the impact that it has on the community. So I just reached out. I knew I would try to do a house build, but I thought, what else could I do? So I reached out and got plugged into a meeting with Brad,
Okay.
and then he kind of let me know about some of the different committee opportunities, and that's how I got plugged into the gala.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. So I know we touched on it a little bit, but just so that our viewers get a better grasp of what you do in your role, we just want you to describe your volunteer role in the best way that you possibly can. We know that it varies each day. I get a lot of calls, well, what are we going to be doing on build site on, they'll ask me, what are we going to do on build site on August 30th? And I'm like, oh my gosh, I have no idea right now. But it's just something, if we could do a little bit more detailed of what you kind of do, just something that you expected or didn't expect from when you started volunteering with Habitat within your role. So tell us what you do, Karen. I know you do a lot.
Well, if I'm in my role as house leader for the day, I would welcome people and make sure they were comfortable with the site and knew where things were and how we did things, that they would sign up so that you would have their name and their waiver signed. And then explain what kinds of jobs we had for the day.
Okay.
And let people know that they have a choice, they could, if there are choices to have, and make sure they had their tools that they needed for that work. And if they didn't know how to do it, then to show them what they needed to do, and be around then for answering questions, and sort of supervising and making sure that they are doing what they need to do.
Okay, perfect. And I know a lot of our volunteers kind of come to me and they're like, well, how will I know what to do on a build site? And luckily I'm able to tell them, well, we have build site leaders, including Catch the Building Spirit and our own staff leaders that lead you throughout the entire day. So I know that they really appreciate having you there to work right alongside them. Thank you, Karen. All right, Kathy.
I try to come in and volunteer every Tuesday. That doesn't always work out, and it's nice to know that the time can be flexible.
Yes.
You're not tied into a routine. And basically what I do is I take any books that have not been shelved and price them, and then we put them in the right categories, and then we also sort out books that have been misshelved or misplaced, and just make sure things are in a nice, orderly fashion. And then my other job with the paint is just to go and see how many more gallons we can put out, how many more paintbrushes and stuff like that.
So restocking and everything.
Mm-hmm. And then when I'm finished with that, I just kind of hang around and see what else I can do.
Okay, because there's so many different things at the Restore, and every day is different. I know Kathy and I have talked about how impressed we are with how many books we sell at the Restore.
Right.
There are a lot of people that the books just
And we have
fluctuate
a
every
lot
day.
of books, so
Yes.
yeah.
So you can always donate books. All right, Gary.
Generally, it's every Wednesday, the Greene County Golden Hammers, and we go all over the place, whether it's Hewer Heights, Trotwood, Kettering, Xenia, Fairborn. We've been to tons of sites. That's one of the fun things about it. Two-story homes to small homes. And we do need more volunteers, and don't let construction volunteer scare you away, because you don't have to have any skills. As been mentioned earlier, they need people like me to bring out the ladders, to hold the ladder, to paint, to lay sod. I'm one of those. I'm not comfortable getting up on the roof. If you're not comfortable doing that, they don't want you to do it. We have a safety meeting before we start each day, and
Absolutely.
we break up into 2-3 person crews, and generally one of those is highly skilled, 30, 40 years of experience at doing what that task is of the day, all kinds of tasks.
Perfect. Thank you, Gary. All right, Heather.
Well, being an advocate, you get to work directly with the family. You're mostly there to help answer questions, see if they have any concerns. Sometimes they can be a little shy about wanting to talk to official Habitat people, so you're kind of their friend in the process. It's just really rewarding to see and be able to cheerlead and help
Sure.
them out, because you can see the end point. Because I've been partnered with 2 families now, and you can kind of get the feel when someone's feeling a little discouraged about how long the process takes, because it can take 18 months to 2 years to get a home.
Yes.
It's a long time
It is.
to be putting in your hours and putting in your volunteer work. And it's just really rewarding to be there with the family and
Sure.
help them through all of that. You get to be friends with them. It's just,
Yes.
I love it.
Did you receive any kind of training from Habitat in order to make you feel
Yes.
comfortable about becoming
Yes.
one of our family
We did
advocates?
go
Can you
through-
talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, the first thing was a Saturday afternoon, I think. We went through for a couple hours. They just covered everything about the Habitat program. They gave you a booklet to help you answer questions. It's a big, thick
Good. Okay,
Habitat
that's
book.
good.
And then they set you up with a good way to get introduced to your family. And
Okay.
for my first one, they brought the families in that day, and we got to sit with them and talk to them, talk about how they're doing in their classes that are required. It was on Thursdays back then. Every Thursday they had to go to classes for about 3 months. My family that I was partnered with had trouble doing volunteer hours, so to help her gain hours, I went to classes with her, just as a way to
Very
keep in
nice.
touch with her.
Okay, very great. Okay, Brian.
Well, I'll start with my role at our site. You know, we have 1,800 employees, so there I'm working with the council. We want to make sure that we're driving a lot of interest and engagement amongst our employees, so they'll volunteer, you know, in the community with Habitat. And so we also want to make sure that we're partnered with you, that we don't just have one person, but even like a team of people that Habitat can reach out to and connect
Yes.
with, whether it's donations or fund or volunteer hours, and being able to fill all the spots that you had. I think we had recently about 144 people who
Yes.
put in 441 volunteer hours
Over
for
a
a house not too
6-week period.
not
Yeah.
too far from our corporate office there in Kettering. So it's very, very exciting. We also want to make sure we have a venue to let Habitat for Humanity come in and meet with senior leaders on our site to do fun, you know, like the Habistack build,
Absolutely.
engaging activities with employees, make it a fun contest. So that's been a really neat thing to do, and we try to do a lot: internal promotions, communications, pictures, and
Yes.
that sort of thing.
Yeah, I mean, we really appreciate you guys partnering us, not only as donors, but as a corporate, you know, as a company that will come out. I mean, you guys sent us over 23 days during 6 weeks. You sent us 144 volunteers that made so much progress on our 2233 East Dorothy Lane build site. It was great.
Oh, that's terrific.
So, I mean, we really appreciate you guys and everything that you sponsor with us. So, do you want to talk about what you do on the signature event gala committee?
Yeah, that committee was really a lot of fun. And there, you know, what you're doing is trying to figure out what's going to be really fun and really engaging for participants. What's the flow and the strategy going to be to really pull off a successful fundraising event? And also, how do we keep costs down, hire the right contractors and vendors, and then really go out and get corporate sponsorships, talking about items to donate for silent auction and things like that, and what's our strategy, how we're going to get it done on time, and it's a lot of fun.
Yes, and I know that was just this past like July 9th,
Yep,
so
yep.
it was a really successful event. And I know our development team was so happy to have you guys, so many of you on a committee, but I know they're looking for more. So if anyone wants to come out and be on our signature event committee, I know they're definitely looking for new individuals. So I guess this next part is would you guys encourage others to volunteer? I know a lot of times, like Jan, we got Kathy from Jan. How would you guys encourage others, or what would you say to encourage others to come out and volunteer with Habitat? Or would you encourage others?
Absolutely.
I guess I'm putting you on the spot, but
Yeah.
yes. I think in each one of your roles, you guys each have such a specific, like Brian working with Synchrony Financial, you're on that council to, encourage others to come out and volunteer with us in different ways. And I know Heather with So Jetty coming out, you talked to them about being family advocates and understanding that they were working towards Partner Families Hours, which was something new.
Yeah.
And Gary wants more Golden Hammers to come
Yeah,
out.
it's a lot of fun, and you meet new friends.
Sure.
So some of it's kind of selfish because of that, but at the same time,
We can be selfish.
you're helping families
Exactly.
own a home that would never be able to afford to do it. So it's kind of a win-win
Yeah.
situation.
Mutual beneficial
And,
relationship. Yep.
I thought I was going to learn a lot of skills, but that didn't happen.
Oh, Gary, I hear great things about you on site. So
Oh, yeah.
I think you're downplaying
And
it.
they're laughing at you, and go ahead, that's it.
So I know as we wrap up, I really just want to get across to our viewership because I know each one of you do this because you do have the passion for volunteering with us. But it's what drew you here. What makes you continue to volunteer? Why do you love Habitat? That's kind of my last smushed together question. Why do you love Habitat?
It would be same as what Gary was saying about because you're working with the people that you're working with and they're passionate about what you're doing. It just makes it a joy to be in that in that love, I guess, and that you want to have other people come and join you. And then the partner families come and they help out, and they're inspiring for them to be there because they're working hard, and that they're going to get those keys at the end of this time and have a decent place to live, which in most cases they haven't had until they had this opportunity.
There's just something really great about the whole community coming together to put a family in this house. And I don't think people realize how hard a family has to work to earn a Habitat house, because they do earn it and then pay a mortgage afterwards.
Yes.
But just the amount of people that donate their time and materials every year to make this happen for families right here in Dayton, it's fantastic.
And we are definitely trying to spread that message because without our volunteers, without everyone behind the scenes, without the partner families doing everything that they do to, become Habitat homeowners, we wouldn't be able to reach our mission without it. And I know it all starts with volunteers. We are a volunteer-led organization, and without individuals like you guys on so many different, committees and different volunteer roles, we wouldn't be able to do what we do without you guys. So
I know another issue for me was I've been a donor for years and years and years. But then once you get into seeing how the organization runs and all the aspects that are involved in it, and of course, like you said, the benefit that it provides for people, then it really makes your donations or the money that is contributed more important.
sure. And by volunteering at the Restore, I'm sure I learned when I started that, the Restore helps us build more Habitat homes, which is not something I knew before working here. So people are always surprised by that. They're like, oh, we thought it was just a retail operation. But when they see how it fits into our mission and our organization, people are usually pretty excited either to donate or volunteer with us or continue to shop with us. So anyone else any final comments or anything that you'd like to say as we're wrapping up?
Yeah, I would say I loved Habitat because of what I saw as the outcome. But I continue to love it just because, I see now as I'm getting to know it even better that they're really focused on making an impact through empowerment. So they're not just creating this awesome house and handing over the keys, but families are learning the skills that they need to be able to stay in that house. I have a house, I have shelter, and I have the ability to manage a budget and to make sure that my family can stay there, and I want others to have that too. So that empowerment piece with the classes and the things that they're doing, I think is really, really key and really sets apart from a lot of other causes out there.
Absolutely.
And so it's a key priority, and I love the focus on empowerment.
I agree. I love those classes because I sat through the full sessions and I learned a lot.
I know some people on staff are like, can we take those classes? Those are amazing.
They're really good.
Yes, we know, and I mean, our partner families, that's something that they always talk about in their kind of their family bio. Which classes meant the most to them? What did they learn the most from at their, and our education classes, if our viewership doesn't know, are also run by volunteers. Our nutrition classes, our finance classes are also run by volunteers. So once again, coming full circle, we have a lot of different volunteer roles, and we definitely appreciate everything that you guys do for us and continue to do for us. So thank you so much for being with us today, and we appreciate everything that you guys do. Our last segment of our July episode, we couldn't miss this, is Norm's Know-How, everyone's favorite episode. Norm is actually not in studio with me today, but we are going to cut to Norm's Know-How, where he is going to show our viewers how to replace a screen.
Thank you, Ashley. I appreciate it. So last month I mentioned that we were going to show you how to re-screen a screen for a window. So just like I think every house, eventually you get one of these right in your screens. It's a simple project. Obviously you can take your screen to a hardware store and they can re-screen it for you. It costs probably $25 to $30 a screen, or you could actually go to Home Depot or Lowe's and buy some replacement screen. And tool-wise, about the only thing you might not have at the house is actually just the re-screening tool. And you can get these anywhere from a couple dollars up to about $10, so but for a project like this, it's a relatively inexpensive fix. So in order to re-screen a window, the first thing, of course, you want to do is take the old screen out. And what you do is there's a spline, it's kind of a rubber spline, and you can usually see where it ends on your old screen. So if you get a screwdriver to start that, the rest of it simply pulls straight out along the track. And then you just peel the screen out of the window, or the screen frame itself. And then just start it. Okay. So, as far as the re-screening process goes, again, pretty straightforward, pretty simple. What you really do is just take a piece of the screen, unroll it so that it is long enough to cover your screen. It doesn't matter if it's a little bit large, because you're really just going to trim that off at the end. So once you get your piece about the right length, simply cut it so you have some overhang with a utility knife. And then just center the screen on your frame. All right, since I knew how this one came off, I'm pretty much just going to try to put it back in the same direction that it came off. Sorry, I was back the other way. And these do tend to stretch as you put them in, but the idea is you start at the corner, and again, I remember this is the corner where I had where the screen was. And then you take the screening tool. And the screening tool, there's two sides. One of them is rounded, and the other one is kind of concave so that it actually will ride on top of the spline. And so once you get that spline down in there, you simply just roll along the edge of the screen, and then the spline goes back down into the track where inside the frame. So you run this along. You get the one corner going, and same thing. You turn the corner. The other thing you want to do is kind of look at the screen and just to see that it's not getting crooked. If you look down, you can kind of see how the screen, or basically the pattern in the screen is lining up. But same thing, you start with the second side and just simply start rolling it into place as you go. So right there, I got a little kink in the fabrics. Just pull it back out and straighten back like so. Same thing, get the two sides. So when you come around to where you got two sides set, the next thing you want to do is just keep a little bit of tension, just a little bit on the screen so it doesn't get too loose. As you roll the spline into the screen itself, it will tighten up. Thing, just start rolling that down long. So even though you actually saw how this was the same spline that came out, you can also see that it's a little long. But then you go back along with the other side of the tool, which again is a little more basically the rounded edge. Push that down, push the spline down all the way around. On all four sides again. To get that into place. And the last part of it is, you simply take your utility knife and on about a 45-degree angle, you come in alongside of the spline that you've just put in and just run that down along that edge to trim this off. Got a couple the pins that hold the screen in there. Now you have to be careful around those. Let's just do that. You can see how that screen is coming apart like that. Now if the spline comes out on you, if you see in the corner here, it's actually coming out on me a little bit. You simply just take, same thing, your screwdriver into the corners here and push that down back into place. But as you can see, one more side to go. Something else I like to talk about too is, believe it or not, one of the most dangerous tools that we have on our job site is this utility knife. You want to be very careful. Of course, they're sharp and it's real easy for it to come out and cut you. But so once you get that, take that off. The last corner that you did, same thing. You take the screwdriver, push that down in, and there you have brand new screened window. Thanks for watching. If you have any ideas, anything else you'd like to see how to do, look us up at normsknowhow@daytonhabitat.org. Send me an email, and we appreciate you watching.
If you're interested in volunteering, please visit our website at www.daytonhabitat.org/volunteer, or you can contact me directly at 937-586-0860, and I'm at extension 29, and I would love to discuss the different volunteer opportunities with you. Thank you so much for joining us today, and we will see you next month.